Have you ever wondered why the more you chase a girl, the further she seems to run? It feels like the harder you try, the less she notices, and instead of getting closer, she starts slipping away. The truth is, attraction doesn't grow from chasing. It grows from presence, energy, and mystery. And today, you're going to learn how to make her yours without chasing, without begging for her attention, and without losing your self-respect in the process. See, society and movies teach us this false idea. If you really like a girl, you should pursue her endlessly, shower her with compliments, and prove your worth through effort. But in real life, that backfires. Why? Because chasing sends one dangerous signal. It communicates that you are less valuable than she is. It tells her you're willing to put her on a pedestal while lowering yourself. And psychology shows us something fascinating. People value what feels scarce, not what feels desperate. If you're always available, always texting first, always bending over backwards, you don't look like a prize. You look like someone who doesn't believe he's worth it. But here's the flip side. Women are deeply attracted to men who carry themselves with confidence, purpose, and boundaries. Men who can show interest without being needy, who can make a woman feel desired without smothering her. So in this video, I'm going to give you the roadmap. A way to flip the script and attract her naturally, without the exhausting chase. Let's start with the foundation. The very first step to making her yours without chasing is understanding self-value. You can't expect someone else to see your worth if you haven't recognized it yourself. Think about it. When you truly believe you're valuable, you don't need to beg for attention. You don't need to force conversations, and you don't fear losing someone, because you know that your life, your energy, and your presence are already a gift. Imagine this scenario. Two guys like the same girl. One of them is always blowing up her phone, dropping everything the second she calls, constantly telling her how amazing she is, even when she gives him almost nothing back. The other guy, he texts her but not constantly. He compliments her but not every second. He's busy building his own goals, hanging out with his friends, working on his fitness. She notices both of them, but which one do you think she feels drawn to? Not the one who's chasing. It's the guy who's living his life with purpose. The guy who makes her wonder, what's so special about him that he doesn't need to chase me? That curiosity is where attraction begins. So the real question is, how do you become that guy? How do you step into a mindset where you can make her yours without chasing? It starts with this principle. Be the center of your own world first. If your entire happiness depends on her attention, you'll suffocate the connection before it even starts. But if she becomes a part of your already exciting, fulfilling world, she naturally wants to stay there. Let me break this down in simple terms. Women are not attracted to men who abandon themselves for love. They're attracted to men who have a mission bigger than just chasing a girl. It might be your career, your fitness, your passions, your goals. When she sees that you have drive, she doesn't just see a man, she sees potential, and potential is magnetic. But here's the twist. This isn't about playing cold, or pretending you don't care. That's just another form of insecurity. The key is balance. You show interest, but you don't over-invest. In her, you make time for her, but you don't cancel your entire life just to prove you like her. You let her know she matters, but you also make it clear that you matter too. In the next part, we're going to dive deeper into the psychological triggers that make her pursue you, instead of you chasing her. But for now, let this sink in. The first step to making her yours without chasing is valuing yourself so strongly that she feels lucky just to be around you. Now that you understand the foundation of self-value, let's go deeper. Because here's the reality. Attraction is not just about looks or money. It's psychological. It's about how you make her feel. If you can spark the right emotions, she'll naturally be drawn to you without you lifting a finger to chase. And the secret lies in psychological triggers, subtle switches in the mind that create attraction, curiosity, and desire. The first trigger is uncertainty. Most guys think the way to win her heart is to constantly reassure her, constantly remind her of their interest. But the human brain doesn't crave what's certain, it craves what's unpredictable. Think about it. Why are people addicted to gambling or scrolling endlessly on social media? It's because they don't know what's coming next. That mystery keeps them hooked. In the same way, if she knows exactly when you'll text, exactly how you'll react, exactly what you'll say, the spark dies. But if she feels a little uncertainty, if sometimes you're available, sometimes you're focused on your own life, it creates tension. And tension is the heartbeat of attraction. The second trigger is scarcity. People value what they don't have unlimited access to. If you're always there, always waiting, always available, your value drops. But when you live a life filled with purpose, when your time is occupied by passions, goals, and growth, your availability becomes limited. That scarcity makes every interaction with you more valuable. Suddenly, she's not thinking, he's always there, I'll text later. She's thinking, I need to make the most of this moment because he has options, and his time is rare. That's not manipulation, that's human psychology. The third trigger is social proof. Like it or not, humans are influenced by the opinions of others. If she sees that other people, friends, colleagues, even other women respect you, enjoy your presence, and want to be around you, her brain will automatically assign more value to you. It's not about faking popularity. It's about genuinely building a life where people are drawn to you because of your energy, your confidence, your humor, your leadership. When she sees others responding to you, she feels a pull, a curiosity that says, what's so special about him that everyone else notices? The fourth trigger is challenge. Women aren't drawn to what's easy, they're drawn to what feels earned. If you hand over all your attention without her investing anything, it feels cheap. But if she has to invest time, effort, or emotion to get closer to you, she values it more. It's like this. If someone gave you a diamond for free, you might take it for granted. But if you worked, sacrificed, and saved for years to buy it, you'd cherish it. The same principle applies in attraction. The more she feels she's investing in you, whether through her time, her laughter, her emotions, the more she values the connection. Now let's bring this to life with an example. Imagine two guys again. One sends her good morning and good night texts every single day, never skipping a beat. At first, she smiles, but after a while, it becomes routine, predictable, easy. The other guy, he texts when he has something meaningful to say. Sometimes he's busy chasing his goals, and she doesn't hear from him right away. When his message finally comes, it feels special. It feels earned. Guess who she's more excited to reply to? Exactly, the one who creates uncertainty, scarcity, and challenge. And here's the kicker. These triggers aren't about manipulation, they're about balance. They're about living your life with such purpose and confidence that she naturally invests in you. When you embody these principles, you don't have to chase, you don't have to beg. She feels the pull, and her instincts take over. So as you move forward, remember this. Attraction is less about what you give her, and more about what you spark in her mind. Scarcity makes your time valuable. Uncertainty keeps her hooked. Social proof raises your status, and challenge makes the connection meaningful. Combine these, and she'll be drawn to you not because you chased her, but because you've become the kind of man she wants to chase. In the next part, we're going to dive even deeper into behaviors, the specific actions, signals, and energy you can bring into your interactions that shift the entire dynamic. If part 1 was about the foundation, and part 2 is about psychology, then part 3 is about execution. The way you carry yourself in real life to make her yours, without the chase. Alright, we've built the mindset and uncovered the psychology. But none of that matters unless you can actually show it in your everyday behavior. This is where most guys fail. They understand attraction in theory, but in real life, their actions send the exact opposite signals. So let's talk execution. The practical steps that make her feel drawn to you, without you ever needing to chase. The first behavior is controlled communication. Stop flooding her with messages. Stop sending back-to-back texts if she hasn't replied. Instead, create a rhythm. A man with purpose doesn't live on his phone, and that's the energy you need to project. When you text her, make it meaningful, light, and playful, not desperate or heavy. If she doesn't reply right away, don't panic, don't double text, and don't guilt trip her. Remember, when you're calm and unbothered, it communicates that your world doesn't revolve around her, and that confidence is magnetic. The second behavior is eye contact and body language. You can say nothing and still spark attraction. When you look her in the eyes and hold it just a second longer than normal, it creates tension. When you stand tall, shoulders back, with an open posture, you radiate confidence without saying a word. Contrast that with the guy who slouches, fidgets, and avoids her gaze. He signals insecurity instantly. Women pick up on this subconsciously. The way you move, the way you sit, the way you carry yourself says more than your words ever will. The third behavior is playful teasing. This is where many men either go too far or don't go far enough. Teasing isn't about being mean, it's about creating fun, flirty tension. If she says something silly, you call her out playfully. If she takes forever to reply, you joke about how she must have been handwriting her message on stone tablets. Teasing shows two things. 1. You're confident enough not to put her on a pedestal. And 2, you can create a fun, light-hearted energy that makes her want to be around you. The fourth behavior is setting boundaries. Attraction isn't just built on fun, it's also built on respect. If she cancels plans last minute, don't reward that with blind forgiveness. If she crosses a line, you address it calmly. Boundaries tell her you're not desperate for approval. You're a man with standards, and you respect yourself enough to expect respect in return. And here's the twist. Women admire men with boundaries. Why? Because boundaries communicate strength, and strength communicates value. The fifth behavior is leading, not following. Instead of always asking, what do you want to do or where do you want to go, take initiative, suggest a place, plan a time, and make it easy for her to just say yes. Leadership creates security. It shows her you're decisive, confident, and capable. But remember, leadership doesn't mean control. It's about guiding the interaction smoothly, not dominating it. Now let's paint a picture. Imagine 2 scenarios. In the first, a guy is texting her non-stop, always asking where she is, complimenting her constantly, agreeing with everything she says. She laughs at his jokes, but she doesn't feel anything deeper. He's predictable. Easy. The second guy, he texts occasionally, but when he does, his messages have personality. In person, he holds eye contact, jokes around, lightly teases her. He's not afraid to say no. He suggests fun plans without hesitation. Which guy do you think she's drawn to? Which one makes her feel excited, curious, and connected? It's obvious. But here's the most important behavior of all. Living your life fully. Because no matter how well you text, no matter how confidently you hold eye contact, if your entire existence is wrapped up in her, she senses it. Women are drawn to men who are already fulfilled. Men with hobbies, passions, goals, and friendships outside of the relationship. When you live with purpose, she doesn't feel like your only source of happiness. Instead, she feels like she's joining an adventure that's already in motion. That's what makes her want to stay. So here's your execution checklist. Keep your communication controlled and intentional. Master eye contact and confident body language. Use playful teasing to create tension. Set boundaries that demand respect. Lead interactions with confidence. And above all, live your life with passion and purpose. These aren't tricks, they're behaviors that naturally flow when you truly value yourself and your time. They shift the dynamic from you chasing her to her chasing you. In the next part, we're going to bring it all together, showing you the emotional depth and connection techniques that transform attraction into something lasting. Because while physical attraction gets her attention, emotional resonance is what makes her yours for real. Attraction might get her attention, but emotions are what make her stay. See, you can be confident, playful, and magnetic, but if she doesn't feel something deeper with you, it's just surface level. And the truth is, women don't just want a guy who looks good and acts confident. They want a man who makes them feel safe, desired, connected, inspired. That's what creates long-term attraction without the chase. The first element of emotional depth is genuine listening. Most men hear, but they don't listen. They're too busy waiting for their turn to talk or trying to say the right thing to impress her. But here's the secret. When you actually listen, when you remember the small details she shares, when you make her feel like her thoughts and feelings matter, you create a powerful bond. Because in a world full of distractions, being present is rare, and what's rare is valuable. The second element is emotional safety. Women open up when they feel they won't be judged or mocked. That doesn't mean you agree with everything she says, but it does mean you create a space where she feels understood. If she's stressed, you don't have to fix it instantly. Sometimes, just listening and saying, "I get it, that sounds tough," is more powerful than 100 solutions. Emotional safety isn't weakness, it's strength. It shows you're secure enough in yourself to hold space for her emotions without being shaken. The third element is playful intimacy. And no, intimacy isn't just physical. It's the little moments that create closeness. Maybe it's an inside joke only the two of you share. Maybe it's a playful nickname. Maybe it's laughing together over something silly. These small, shared experiences build a private world between you and her. A world she doesn't want to leave. The fourth element is challenge with care. Earlier we talked about challenge as a trigger, but here's the deeper layer. Challenge isn't about playing games. It's about holding her to her best self. If she doubts herself, you remind her of her strengths. If she talks about her dreams, you encourage her to go after them. You're not just a guy she flirts with. You're someone who inspires her growth. That's a rare kind of connection, and it makes you unforgettable. The fifth element is authentic vulnerability. Now listen carefully. This doesn't mean oversharing or dumping your problems. It means showing her that you're human. If you had a rough day, you don't need to pretend you're perfect. If something matters to you deeply, you share it honestly. Vulnerability creates trust, and trust creates emotional intimacy. But the key is balance. Strength combined with openness. That's what makes a man real. Let's bring this to life with a quick scenario. Imagine two guys again. One is charming, confident, playful, but he never lets her see past the surface. She enjoys his company, but something feels missing. The other guy, he's confident too, but he listens when she speaks. He makes her laugh, but he also makes her feel safe. He shows her glimpses of his real self, his ambitions, his struggles, his dreams. With him, she doesn't just feel attraction, she feels connection. Guess who she wants to stick with long term? And here's the most important truth. When you create emotional depth, you never have to chase, because she wants to be with you. Not because you begged, not because you pressured, but because being around you feels different. It feels rare, it feels alive. So here's your emotional connection checklist. Listen more than you talk. Create emotional safety by respecting her feelings. Build intimacy through shared jokes and private moments. Challenge her in ways that bring out her best. Show authentic vulnerability without losing strength. When you master this balance, confidence, purpose, psychology, execution, and emotional connection, you become the man she doesn't want to lose. Not because you chased her, but because you showed her something deeper than surface-level attraction. And in the next part, we're going to wrap it all up, showing you how to integrate everything into one powerful approach that keeps her drawn to you for the long run. Think of it as the final blueprint. How to make her yours without chasing, and without ever losing your sense of self. We've covered mindset, psychology, execution, and emotional depth. Now it's time to bring it all together. Because here's the truth, making her yours without chasing isn't about memorizing lines or tricks. It's about becoming the kind of man who naturally attracts, connects, and inspires. A man who doesn't run after women because women feel compelled to run toward him. So let's put it all into one blueprint. Step 1. Value yourself above all. If you don't see your own worth, no one else will. That's why the foundation is mindset. You're not looking for her approval. You're building a life that excites you, with or without her in it. That self-value radiates, and she feels it instantly. Step 2. Spark her psychology. Humans are wired to crave uncertainty, scarcity, social proof, and challenge. Use them wisely. Don't flood her with predictable attention. Create mystery. Don't give her unlimited access. Value your time. Surround yourself with respect and energy that others notice. And never be too easy. Let her invest in you, because people value what they earn. Step 3. Execute in real life. Words mean nothing without actions. That's why you communicate with control, not desperation. You master body language, confident eye contact, strong posture, calm energy. You bring playful teasing and humor into the interaction. You set boundaries that demand respect, and you lead with confidence, not passivity. These everyday behaviors transform theory into reality. Step 4. Build emotional depth. This is what separates you from every other guy she meets. You listen. You create safety. You build intimacy in small moments. You challenge her to grow. You're vulnerable without being weak. You become more than just a fun distraction. You become the man who makes her feel alive, safe, and connected. That's the difference between temporary attraction and lasting desire. Now, when all of this comes together, something powerful happens. You no longer chase. You no longer worry about what to say, or whether she reply, or if you're good enough. Because you've built yourself into a man who doesn't need to chase, and that energy flips the script. She feels the pull, she invests, she prioritizes you, not because you begged, but because you embodied value. Let me give you one final image. Picture two men at the starting line. One runs full speed, trying desperately to catch the woman ahead of him. He's panting, reaching, always behind. The other, he doesn't run at all. He stands firm, confident, living his purpose. And slowly, she turns, she notices, and she walks toward him. That's the essence of never chasing. You don't run after her. You create a life, an energy, and a presence that makes her want to come to you. So here's your final checklist. Your blueprint. Mindset. Build self-worth and purpose first. Psychology. Use uncertainty, scarcity, social proof, and challenge. Execution. Communicate with control. Master body language. Tease playfully. Set boundaries. And lead. Emotional depth. Listen. Create safety, build intimacy, challenge growth, and show real vulnerability. When you live this blueprint, attraction isn't forced, connection isn't chased, it flows naturally. And here's the final truth. You don't make her yours by chasing her. You make her yours by becoming the kind of man she doesn't want to lose. So if this message hits you, don't just watch once. Rewatch, take notes, and start applying. Because the man who understands this isn't just winning in dating, he's winning in life. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more. Because this is the influencer trap, and together we're exposing the lies, breaking the chase, and building real power.